good afternoon from sunny Laufen in Switzerland, where we are all set for the sprint final, the A final for the women's and men's competition. This is the 7th race of the 2019 World Cup, the 3rd that's been held this weekend here in Switzerland. It is nice and sunny out here. Pretty good conditions, maybe getting a little bit on the warm side for some people, but great news for spectating and to get some beautiful pictures and as they go around parts of the old town here in Laufen and parts of the rest of the town as they take in this all the controls in the sprint competition. So we're going to be starting very, very shortly with the women's sprint final, and we're going to have the top 40 athletes. That's who we're going to be focusing on today. They're going to start with an interval of 90 seconds, so a bit longer than usual. In fact, we've just had the first woman begin their course now, Miriam Erdem. This is what's been happening just before they begin their race, just checking into quarantine, making sure that they don't know anything about the course, anything about the controls before they begin. Chance to try and keep cool, do all your preparations, play some card games, chill out, relax, and do the final kind of preparations before the race begins. And it means that these runners will not have seen any of those that have gone in the B final before them. They will not know anything about the course or the quarantine or the starts or anything like that, and it's the final chance to get all your preparations underway and finished, and no mobile phones, no connection with the outside world allowed once you go into quarantine. Just warming up, just keeping relaxed. As you can see, some of the top names just getting ready for their races. Joey Haddon already won 2 medals this weekend for Switzerland, and they will be brought over a few minutes before their start to the arena that we have here, and then they will get their race underway. So we are going to start with the women's final. It's 3.6 kilometers. That's the optimal length of the route, and let's have a chat through the map now, Jonas.
Yeah. We are at the same arena as yesterday at the knockout sprint, so the same start. We will have a short loop into Old Town, very similar kind of orienteering as yesterday. Short decisions in the beginning, rather short legs as well. We have 8 controls in this first part. I think the plan is to get the runner to run very fast here in the beginning, so they don't have that much energy, or they already have used some of the power when the longer legs with the route choices come. And one thing I think is very interesting here, they have the route choice directly after the map change, so they don't have a lot of time to prepare this one, which is quite an interesting leg in my opinion. We also leave the Old Town here for some more some different kind of orienteering outside the walls of this Old Town. 10, 11, 11, 12, another route choice with 2 possibilities, either to go to the north or to the south. Then 2 short controls, and then the longest leg of the course back into the Old Town with a very interesting route choice. I think, in my opinion, there is one route that's quite clearly the fastest. We will see, but it's kind of hard to see, so we have to wait. I expect the fastest runner to choose right there, but there are many decisions to take before, and when you're stressed, it's easy to make a decision without having thought through all the options. Then we go back into the Old Town and the same kind of orienteering again as we had in the beginning. In my opinion, it's a good sprint. We have these short decisions, very quick orienteering in the beginning, and then these longer legs on the second loop. This is the leg to control 9, I guess. The first long leg and 2 different options here. The red one, not too easy to see since we go out of the wall here of the old town, and then here you have to turn to the left and not go under street. There would be an option to come to the other side of the street, but you have to see that you have to take this passage there into the small park. Maybe the blue option is easier to see and figure out in the beginning. We'll see. I'm not really sure which one's the fastest here. It looks that yeah, they're quite similar in the distance, so maybe blue will be picked more often here.
Yeah, that's just one of several route choice legs that we have on this course, especially as they head out of the old town. And so not much difference in that one. I think there will be some more differences in the route choice as they come back into the old town. We have the start list up here. It is a 1.5 minute start interval, and these runners have qualified for this final based on results from yesterday's knockout sprint qualification as well as the World Cup standings, which means that we actually have quite a lot of maybe more traditionally forest orienteers in this A final, in this top 40 that we're focusing on, and maybe they are not quite as experienced or as good at sprinting, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Tova Alexanderson will be our last starter. She has already won the World Cup. She's won all 6 competitions so far, with getting that maximum 600 points, and nobody can catch her. Natalia Gempler is in current second place in the World Cup standings. Maja Rantanen now to set off, athlete number 5 of 40, and one of those not traditionally a sprint orienteer, favours the forest with many relay golds to her name from the forest. And she begins as quite a short run out of the arena, and then a very sharp right before they head to the actual start control, which she still hasn't got to. It's just at the end of this passage, you can see it there, and then the orienteering starts.
Yes, and such a long distance to the start control, start point, it allows you to prepare the first legs. You should really use this time. It's not that easy in this case here because you have many narrow curves to take. But still, you should use this time you get from the course planner to really take a look at the first control, maybe the whole, it's a very short loop, the whole loop, just not to plan everything, but to get an idea what the characteristics of the course will be in this first part.
Yeah, but you can't get the characteristics of the whole thing because there's a map change. They have to turn over their map, as we now see Lenka Meklova on the start line. She didn't qualify for any of the knockout heats in yesterday's knockout sprints. Didn't make the top 12 from each of the qualification qualification heats. But you can see she's just looking at the clock to get the countdown for her start, takes the map immediately, folds it up and gets looking at the course there, tries to use all the seconds she can to try and make sense of what the course is doing and where to go to control number 1. This is still on the run out. Lenka Meklova from the Czech Republic. And heading left there. So now we can have a look at some of the GPS tracking.
They're on the way to the 6th control on the first loop here. Saila Kinney and Anna Bachmann from Sweden.
Yeah, so we're live with Saila Kinney and synchronized to the GPS of Anna Bachmann, so pretty much running similar speed here. So very shortly we'll see Saila Kinney through the arena passage, although there is a route choice, as you can see, towards number 7.
aufgebaut, wie schon gestern im K.O.-Sprint, sodass dies die Route mal für die Läuferinnen und Läufer zusätzlich.
But both of them heading back out of that control, out of control number 6, and we'll go through the gap in the wall here to get control number 7, where they'll turn round and then run back again through the gap. You can see there, looks like Sila Kinney just ahead of Anna Bachmann in this early stages.
And this is a very typical leg for this kind of, at least for this first part here. It's either left or right. I don't think that the differences will be very big, but you have to take a fast decision. And of course, even if it's only different, if there's only like 2 seconds difference between the 2 route choices, if you just pick the wrong one every time, it will sum up and you will lose quite a lot of time since there are many controls.
So Sila Kinney went through that control just before the arena passage in 3rd place. She was 2 seconds faster than Anna Bachmann, but 19 seconds slower than the current leader at that point, Ven Lahayu. Still very early days with only the first 4 through that point. Lisa Risby here, 11th in the middle distance 2 days ago. One of I think the late replacements for the injured Caroline Olsen, who's been having trouble with her hip pretty much since this time last year. Tried to push through and made it to the World Championships.
We have some other quite big names missing out because of injuries. There's Lina Strand. She had to travel back, feeling some pain in her foot, I think it was.
Yep.
And also Maja Alm, who was actually signed up for the competition but couldn't come here because of an injury. So now we see them on this long leg to control 9, and we also see that they choose differently here.
We're still not really sure which one. Well, Sila Kinney, now choosing the southernmost route, but I think I feel like she was still running straight on and still deciding which way she was going to go.
Yeah, I think that Anna Bachmann's option there was better, shorter distance. As you say, it felt that Sila Kinney didn't really decide on beforehand and wanted to win some time there by going more or less straight.
So this is up the slope towards control 12, I think, going round the western part. No, sorry, it isn't. It's to 10 and 11. So number 10 and 11, this is our TV control number 2. It's all around this church. And you can see that the next control is in the back of the picture there. So the runners will turn round and get these 2 very pretty easy controls there. But then there is another route choice for the next one. And we're not sure which is the faster of the. It's you either keep going and go up the hill or turn back, as Anna Bachmann did there, and she went into 2nd place.
This is Lilian Forsgren from Sweden on the way to the start point here.
She takes a different route into control number 1 compared to what we've seen from some of the others. So this is confirmation of what Anna Bachmann is doing from controls 11 to 12.
She's going more to the east. There's an option also to go to the west. It's a bit tricky there. You don't have so many entrances, but you have an entrance from both sides. So it's more the problem when you leave control 12 to 13 that you have to be aware of, that you have to back out from the control again. And also there you have one option then to the east or to the west.
From the Estonian team, Eveli Kasiko will start in 10 seconds only. So very soon now start for Eveli Kasiko from Estonia.
We're back with Sila Kinney.
So this is 2nd TV control 10.
She will not beat Bella Harju. She will not beat Anna Backman either, I believe. So this is a new third best time.
So new third best time, and she chooses that other route choice there.
She lost quite a lot of time, and we have seen her on this longer leg to control 9. She was not running the fastest option there. I think she lost some of those 46 seconds at that point.
Yeah, as we saw right at the beginning, the two options going north or going south to control number 9 were, there was 5 meters difference between the two of them, but you have to be able to get
Yeah, you
that
have to make a decision.
You have to make the decision quickly and then do the best execution of either of those two routes. Meyer Rantanen here. Again, this is controlled 10 to 11, and Meyer Rantanen's had a good start to the course, goes second, only 2 seconds slower than Venla Harju. Yeah, running pretty similar times, just a few seconds different to Venla Harju at each point.
Lotta Karula from Finland.
Yesterday in the semifinal for Lotta Karula, bid number
She's just looking at the countdown clock and then will be released for her run. Made the semi-final of the knockout sprints yesterday.
Very narrow start, as we said. So the first time you really can take a look at the map was after this first curve.
So now we can see some of the first athletes going on this longer route choice towards Control 15 and what those options are.
Yeah, and I think that the red one is the best one, the fastest one, even though it's only 20 meters shorter. So I think that the green one is also an option you can choose, for sure. The blue one, it seems to be quite extreme, but you have to remember, I mean, if you run this one, you don't have to really read the map on the way as carefully as you have on the other ones. But then in the end there, you have to run down some stairs. This usually slows you down a little bit, so I would add some extra time there to those 60 meters more distance you have to take. But on the other hand, as we said, you can push very hard on this quite straight line. You can run there around.
And you can see those two athletes both choosing the correct option. Venla Harju here, this is her right at the finish.
But I mean, it was 60 meters, the difference, but you have to remember that's 10% of the distance, so it's quite a bit. So you have to push really, really hard if you want to be fast on this blue route choice.
Venla Harju finishing here in 15 minutes and something like 12 seconds.
Waiting for the official time there for Venla Harju. At the same time also Lilia Forsgren passes through.
Haven't got the official time yet from her. She took a bronze medal at this year's World Championships middle distance. Still not got her exact finish time. Now we have it, 15 minutes and 10 seconds. And she will take a little perch on the leader's chair. In fact, she's still leading throughout all the splits. So we will see how long it is before somebody else comes in to take her spot on the leader's chair.
But it's a shared lead at TV control number 2. So Merja Rantanen from Finland, she has the same time there.
Back to the start, and Victoria Heistad-Björnstad is the next to begin. She made the semi-finals of the knockout sprint yesterday.
And she was running it quite good. She had the tactics to stay together with Tove Alexandersson. In my opinion, she did a good decision there. She did a good race in the end. Kind of the energy, like the power she had was out, so it was tough for her to keep up, and then she got overtaken in the very end. But well, it was a good race and a good performance for such a young runner compared to the others.
I think it shows a lot of potential there. So yeah, look out for her, and see maybe she'll be posting good times today. So let's have a look at this comparison here.
Interesting. Those two different route choices there. Seems that Saila Kinney has slightly better speed. Oh, there's a third option by Merja Rantanen. I'm not really sure if that's the fast. I think if you run this way there, you have to go, as we have seen,
Saila Kinney doing,
yeah, doing it.
This is Saila Kinney here, on her way.
Here we have Merja Rantanen as well.
So Merja Rantanen caught up Saila Kinney then. And this is the very last section. It's not too difficult at this point, as Sophie Bachmann begins her sprint.
And I'm waiting very soon now for Merja Rantanen to the pre-warning. It's still very, very tight between Merja and Venla Harju sitting there in the leading chair with the leading time of 15:10. So let's see if Merja Rantanen can beat that.
So we're looking out for Merja Rantanen, who, as we just saw from the GPS tracking, took that different route choice into control 15. We will see whether that's affected her competition with Venla Harju. The two of them been very close together around the routes.
A new leader in Merja Rantanen quite soon.
Sandra Grosberga from Latvia.
Another of those to make the semi-final of the knockout sprints yesterday. Getting her call up to the start box. Making all the final preps, looking at the control descriptions, looking at her compass, keeping the focus in this arena start. And this is Merja Rantanen now into the finish. What is she going to do? Is she going to take a new leading time here? One of the early starters. Will she deprive her teammate of a chance to sit in this leader's chair for a long time? And yes, Merja Rantanen goes fastest here.
7 seconds, 6 seconds maybe.
Again, we're waiting a while for the official times here, but certainly there, Merja Rantanen taking the new leading time. Great run from her. I think has some good speed, despite, we think, going a slower route to control 15. So there we can see potential for her for time to be gained. Now we're live with Elin Månsson.
Månsson, she was in fourth position, third position at TV3. This is Lisa Risby.
This is at TV2. She goes ninth. She's 3 minutes down on time with Venla Harju. Something must have happened there.
Susan Lush from Germany.
Was one of a few who missed punched in the qualification yesterday for the knockout sprint, so she hasn't had the opportunity to race in this old town here in Laufen. I got the impression when running around that having run in there previously, you're used to knowing how everything looks, everything feels a bit more familiar. It doesn't take quite as long to make your decisions and to spot when, if you go wrong. It's quite easy to spot when things aren't quite right. But then all the teams did get a chance to go and have a little jog out in the terrain yesterday.
But still, it's a difference if you run it in competition speed or if you're just out looking for some features. I definitely think it's an advantage to have been running, but she had the chance to qualify for it, so it's not unfair in any way. But of course, it's an advantage. On the other hand, the part in the Old Town is not a very decisive one. I'm quite sure about that. But it gives you confidence to be able to run in a place you have been running before. So definitely, yeah.
I mean, you can take a few seconds. You're not having to think quite as hard. You know, you can.
Yeah,
you
it's-
feel like you can push it a bit further because everything's more familiar. I
And
think.
it's also about the feeling you get. You have kind of get into the map when it comes to distance, how fast are the features coming, how much do I agree with the mapping, and how's the mapping style. It's always, yeah, stuff like that that's also coming into the picture, so it's definitely an advantage.
Laura Rammstein here, the Austrian, setting off third place in her heat and qualification yesterday. Top 6 in yesterday's qualifications automatically made it through to today's final, as well as those at the top of the World Cup standings. Let's have a look at this replay of this longer leg. See, Rantanen was already ahead of Forsgren at control 13.
But there we had this point when I think she wasn't choosing the best option. It would have been better probably to continue some more meters and take the other entrance there up to the north. The way we have seen Saila Kimi running, because she has to back out again to the west there for some seconds.
Elin Monson takes third place. Currently, 52 seconds is the gap. Merja Rantanen still in the lead. But going back to that GPS tracking, it seems like you're able to get really, you know, of course, it's a straight line east out of control 14. And I feel like Rantanen didn't really lose that much time there. Maybe she's just that much quicker. I would have expected her to have lost the gap to be different.
Yeah, it would have
after
been,
that choice.
It would have been interesting to have seen a synchronized picture where we would see them start at the same time. It's very hard to decide or to see in a picture like this.
Lilian Forsgren, this was control number 15, and only a few more to go now in this second time they go into the Old Town part. And in third place there, Merja Rantanen still that leading time.
5 seconds ahead of Venla Harju from Finland.
Yeah, 15:05 is that time. We've got an expected winning time today of 14 minutes, although I know it's the same in the men's, and I know one of the B finalists won in 14:10, so my expectation is it will go quicker than 14 minutes. And of course, Sara Hagström is about to start, but back live then with Lilian Forsgren, and you can see she's not quite as quick as Merja Rantanen.
Yeah, but she's coming closer. When we saw her at control 14, it was almost a minute, I think.
I think it was 24.
Oh yeah, it's I mean almost half a minute, of course. The tail is 30 seconds here. And I think it's now maybe 15 seconds. But
not sure, but Lilian Forsgren goes into this little underground kind of car park section and will emerge back from there. So this is the run-in, the last section of the course. Lilian Forsgren, you can see already she is too slow, will end up taking that third place, the Swede. So Forsgren, final stretches of the course, taking third place currently.
yeah, one lesson learned: you shouldn't try to read out the time from a GPS track in a city.
Yeah, it's not quite as accurate between all the buildings. It's really hard.
This is Sophie Bachmann.
17th place in the middle distance not yesterday, 2 days ago. Taking this wall here on her way to controls 10 and 11. And you can see she chose the eastern route into control from controls 9 to 10. So Sophie Bachmann here.
At TV control 1, she was 29 seconds behind Merja Rantanen.
Now
it's even more.
Now the gap 36 seconds, and then taking the route up the hill. Let's have a look at these two tracks. We're looking for Eveli Kasuku. The Estonian is going to be next.
Okay, that's
And I think it's just the GPS tracking is off, yeah. It looks like she didn't punch control 17, but I think she will have done anyway. We're going to see her very shortly into the finish, but you can see already that she is a considerable way behind Merja Rantanen. This is the Estonian here, Eveli Kasuku. And this is the second last control. She just punches in there, hidden, and then she takes the last control here and all the way into the finish.
But already now more than 50 seconds behind, so it will be more than a minute compared to Merja Rantanen.
But she goes fifth.
At a time, 16 minutes and 9 seconds.
16 minutes and 9 seconds is her time. But back to the start, Svetlana Mironova.
With pin number 21, the former world champion in long distance, Svetlana Mironova from Russia.
Starts her watch and starts her course. This is one of the runners who definitely been stronger in the forest than sprints in the past. And Eveli Kasuku just has downloaded her results. Current 5th place, just over 16 minutes of running for her. Let's have another look at this long leg.
Again, it's not synced from the control, unfortunately.
It seems to me that Merja Rantanen has been fast with that road choice.
Gut zu sehen hier die künstlichen Absperrungen bei der Routenwahl kurz vor Ende des Rennens. Diverse Optionen stehen den Läuferinnen da offen.
Again, very hard to say if it was a good choice or not. It's not a very bad choice, that's for sure.
Well, the gap is 30 seconds there, and the gap at TV2 was 8 seconds. So Victoria Hestad losing 20 seconds, but that could have been on the route choice from 11 to 12 and 12 to 13, rather than on that route choice there from 14 to 15.
Yeah, we would have needed a GPS replay sync from the console there.
Here is the Norwegian though. Hestad Bjørnstad. Yeah, she was impressive in the knockout sprint yesterday. Really great attacking the course. Really put herself in a good position. Didn't quite have that sprint endurance to be able to qualify for the final.
But I like the style when you're attacking from the beginning, and well, if it's not good enough in the end.
Well, she did. I think she put herself. Yeah, she put herself in as good a position as she could, in my opinion. Laura Ramstein here. She's on her way to TV control 2. This is controls 10 and 11. So we're going to get the time. Not from this control she's about to punch, but from the next one. So she will be slower than Venla Haju and Merja Rantanen. Merja Rantanen still our leader at the finish. The Laura Ramstein, not a bad start.
Let's see now the punch from Laura Ramstein from Austria. And she is right there in 6th position, 16 seconds behind.
Still at the start here, Paula Gross. Another of the semi-finalists from yesterday's knockout sprint. And big support for all the Swiss here.
In the picture there, we could get a glimpse of Megan Carter-Davis as well. She has a new best time at the Arena Passage. 4:24. She's 8 seconds faster compared to Merja Rantanen. Still in the lead in the finish.
Yeah, so Megan Carter-Davis, the only one to have gone faster than Merja Rantanen. Still only very early stages. 4:24 of running by the time you get to the arena passage, still got a good 10 or so, 10, 11 minutes of running still to go. And now we can have a little look at the GPS tracking here. We're live with Megan Carter-Davies, and this is the comparison with Merja Rantanen, and you can see she's chosen this northern route choice.
Yeah, but not the very best way, I think.
I think the best way is to go via control 18 almost.
Exactly, you have some meters less in distance if you pass control 18. You can also take a glimpse at control 18 at the same time. That can help you later on.
No, but you do see it because it's the same map.
So Megan Carter-Davies, very interesting to see the next split from Megan.
But then Merja Rantanen as well, if she's taken this southern route, you would have kind of expected her to go via control 17 there. So I think neither of them taking the optimal route choice there.
We have seen that Rantanen route before. I think it was Saila Kinney maybe who was staying, or Venla Harju. It was one of the
Saila
Finnish
Kinney,
one.
I think, yeah.
Staying there a bit too long, a bit too much in the center of the city. There's a shorter way more to the south.
So we'll see how that route choice pays off for Megan Carter-Davies, as we will hopefully see her again at controls 10 and 11. This is the GPS tracking though, as Carter-Davies running through around the edge of the city. Santa Grossberger here, this is control 15. And into 6th position. So Merja Rantanen still our leader again at that point.
Swedish group here of runners together with the coach Håkan Karlsson. Oh, there was a small mistake by Megan Carter-Davies, unnecessary to run around the house there. But still, she is ahead of Merja Rantanen.
Yeah, making I think a parallel mistake there, but this is her out of control number 9.
The difference still 8 seconds, so same time there still.
And now taking this route to the east here. Oh, again. Just has to go a little bit further. Another kind of parallel mistake at that point, but she will go all the way out here to the car park and round this point. And now looking a bit more back on track. So now she'll be able to see this next control number 10. And now we look at this time counting down. Will she still be the leader at this point despite those small hesitations? She's a very strong runner, having won the sprint, middle and long distance British Championships. And there's the control. But I have a feeling she's kind of lost some confidence as a result of those couple of mistakes that we saw her do there. She's lost some seconds. She's still in the lead, but only by 3 seconds ahead of Venla Harju.
But we could really see where she lost the time. First running around the house, totally unnecessary, and then she was almost on the way into a wrong entrance there. Had to stand at place for some seconds and relocate. So yeah, she lost some more than 10 seconds there.
Yeah.
Only by relocating, and then she lost some time already earlier by rounding the house.
Yeah, and maybe also on the route choice into control number 9 as well, as Isia Basse begins her race.
And Paula Gross on her way, passing through arena, 13 seconds behind.
Laura Landstein here, Austrian. This is control 15, only a few controls now, and we'll see her at the finish. She went 4th there, 30 V points.
The picture of Sophie Bachmann, finish 10th position, 1:54 behind Merja Rantanen, who's still leading the competition at the finish.
Here is Svetlana Mironova, the Russian, and on her way to control number 11.
A little bit late, as you can see.
few seconds behind the lead of Carter Davis, but not many. 11 seconds she goes into 5th place.
11 seconds behind Megan Carter Davis. 11 seconds behind Megan Carter Davis.
So now let's have a look at these route choices here.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned before. I think it's better to pass control 18 there. It's a bit less in distance. But the gap still, we had those 13 seconds at TV1.
Laura Ramstein here into the second to last control, which is just hidden out of view in this kind of under this building, and she will emerge again this last few seconds, but you can see she is already slower than Merja Rantanen, who's still leading, gets a good cheer into this arena.
Yeah, she is originally coming from the region here, but starting for Austria.
And goes 5th. 34 seconds slower. So now let's have a look. This is a mistake you can see again from Megan Carter Davis, and we know she has that hesitation going out of control number 9 as well. But at the moment, she's still faster than Paula Gross. We're live with Paula Gross's GPS here as well.
But we will see the other small mistakes very soon. We've seen Megan Carter Davis doing earlier on the way to control 10.
This is Paula Gross. Straight through the control there. And taking a different route choice here.
I think that's a good choice.
So she's going west of the control through this freshly cut field. And then it's much easier to execute this route choice. And there's very little possibility to make any mistakes as you basically head right to the end of this road and take the junction to the left and then cross over the road to get to this control. You get to have a good look at control 11 before you get to number 10 as well, as we see Sara Hagström here into control 15.
Well, I think that the other way is shorter actually, but it's much easier to execute this one. Still, that shouldn't be the reason why you choose a route. If it's easier to execute, you should, of course, go for the fastest one. Might be that she will lose some seconds, but not compared to Megan Carter Davis.
So let's have a look at Paula Gross. She just punched control 10 there. So let's have a look at the gap compared to Carter Davis. Running very well, executed that one too. So the gap is 7 seconds.
Was 13 before.
Yeah. So gaining time. So I'm not sure which of those routes is better. So she's gained 2 seconds on the route from.
As I said, I think that Megan Carter Davis' route is better, but she was not executing it well.
Yeah. Denisa Kosova into the finish here.
You see here Silja Kroniaran on the same route choice as we've seen Paula Gross before. We don't think it's the fastest one. The gap between Kroniaran and Carter Davis was 3 seconds at TV control number 2.
So we'll see if she is able to take the lead. Let's have a look. This is the comparison between Silja Kroniaran and Paula Gross, the two of them taking that same route. And here is the Norwegian. She punches control 10. My feeling is she will take a new lead here.
Very, very close now. Merja Rantanen sits in the lead, 50 minutes and 5 seconds. And Megan Carter Davis.
So Silja Kroniaran taking the new leading time there by 2 seconds. So caught up 5 seconds there, and at the finish, Sara Hagström here goes third fastest, 24 seconds slower than Merja Rantanen.
Wir warten auf die Megan Carter Davis. Das wird ganz eng im Vergleich mit Rantanen.
From Poland, next to start.
And this is Megan Carter Davis.
This will be very tight.
Hier kommt sie.
That's, oh, look, she's not going to be fast enough to take the new leading time here. was faster than Merja Rantanen early on, but still going all the way to the line. Will go third fastest here, 6 seconds slower than Merja Rantanen. And we don't know what route she's taken from 14 to 15, but certainly the mistakes in the middle section of the course will have cost her there. Svetlana Mironova here into control 15. Carter Davis there.
Yeah, she must have lost some time in the very end. She was in the lead at the pre-warning, 1 second ahead of Merja Rantanen. Pre-warning only 1 minute before the finish. And yes, at the finish, she's 6 seconds behind.
And I think, well, she said there she kind of ran too fast at the beginning, and I think that's what meant that she made those mistakes. I think she probably felt it after the first part, everything was coming very quickly, which is why she undershot a lot of the things, making in the last part.
I mean, the mistake when she was rounding that house clearly shows that, well, you don't do a mistake like this just without any reason. She must have been a bit tired and maybe a bit lazy in her head because of the great speed she had in the beginning.
I think so. Antonina Benjaminsen here.
So very interesting in a short while. The
starting off.
passes of
And
number 3 from
this looks like Vendula Hotichkova, the Czech athlete, going through into the Old Town to control 15. And she's going towards our third TV split. And you can see she's already 45 seconds slower than Merja Rantanen, who's still leading at TV3. Mironova finishing goes down into 9th place. So Merja Rantanen looking happier and happier the longer she sits on that chair. Was the 5th starter today. Not ranked highly in terms of sprinting.
Silakadan from Austria, soon to start. This is Paula Gross.
So Paula Gross here into control 15. Is she going to be one of the first few to... she isn't. I thought she potentially could be challenging the time of Merja Rantanen, but 8 seconds down into that last part as Ursula Kadan starts her sprints, and we're into the top 10 now here at the start. And a lot of the athletes, I think, after this weekend's competition, going to be thinking about what they do for the next World Championships, which is sprint-only World Championships. And certainly for Merja Rantanen, this is going to give her a lot of confidence to push for Denmark, to push for going for those places at the Sprint World Championships. As we haven't been doing a lot of sprinting recently, this is going to... The whole competition this weekend is going to be providing a lot of answers to some questions about what are the more forest athletes' forms like on the sprints, what have people been the traditional sprinters, what's their form like when they've maybe had a whole year kind of away from orienteering because we had those forest championships. Silja Ekroljaren here. Yep, she's on her way into this Old Town, onto the way to control number 15, crossing the road here.
She was 15 seconds behind at the earlier split time.
And you've really got to have paced your race very well because there is potential for you to kind of really push very hard on this last section. It's not too difficult, but Silja Ekroljaren into 5th place there. And at the finish, Julia Jakob just begins her race.
Paula goes to the finish, 9 seconds behind into 4th position.
So very tight at the top with the top 4 in 10 seconds.
But it also shows us that Rantanen, she had a good finish there from the last split times to the finish.
Now let's have a look here. We're looking live with Teresa Janošíková. She took the silver medal yesterday in the knockout sprint. Very impressive performance for the Czech athlete who's still a junior.
And that looks very promising here in the beginning for Janošíková. I think we will have a new best time very soon at control 9.
And in fact, at the arena passage, she was 2 seconds slower than Megan Carter-Davis. So Teresa Janošíková looking very good, and this is her here. You can see from this route that she's taking the easterly route choice. We think this is the faster one. It's more difficult to execute. She just has to make sure she goes all the way to the edge of these buildings.
Well, you say it's more difficult. Yes, it's more difficult, but still it's not difficult.
No.
It was a stupid mistake by Megan Carter-Davis there. So it's not. It sounds so impossible to execute when you say it's more difficult, but actually it's not.
And now at the start, Simona Abersold, Swiss first-year senior, very impressive athlete, and she took second at the middle. She was matching Alex Anderson's pace for parts of the course. But this is Janošíková, and she's at control number 10 here. Just checking it, and I think this will be a new best time. Look, it's looking good here to take the lead away from Silje Krøl-Jaren here. So she punches control number 11 and goes 8 seconds faster than Silje Krøl-Jaren.
I'm sure that she gets a lot of confidence from the result from yesterday. She knows that the speed compared to the other runners is very good. So that gives you some time, or it makes it easier for you to focus on your technical ability, because you know that your physical ability is good enough to be in the top 3 in a World Cup race.
Silje Krøl-Jaren there went into 5th position, 13 seconds slower than Megan Antonen, and now we're looking at, we're live with Alice Leek, and this is this route choice towards control number 15.
And Alice Leek was 14 seconds behind, no, 7 seconds behind.
But it's really interesting though, we didn't rate this route choice for Megan Antonen, but she seems to have done really, really well. But Alice Leek is within touching distance of the Finn, I think, here. So if she's able to have a very good end of this race, as we saw Megan Antonen really had a good end of the race, and Alice Leek looks like she's ahead. Oh, she was ahead.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she's going around to the north there. She didn't really see this passage through where Rantanen is running. So she will go and change through to this stairs there. I think she will lose some seconds.
I think she will lose. We're going to have to check the splits at the third TV control. But I think she was ahead of Rantanen at that point. If she chose the correct route choice, she would be leading at that point. Here we are at the finish. Sarina Jenser, I think this is, into the run-in. At the start, though, Sabine Hausret is ready to begin her race. Sarina Jenser finishes 16th, but Sabine Hausret now on the start line. Took a bronze medal in the middle distance and was 5th in the knockout sprint yesterday. Really great all-rounder here. Here's Alice Leek. Now let's get double-check her time here at control number 15. Where is she going to be placed? And she's gone 12 seconds behind into 6th, so 15 seconds lost on that route.
Yeah, we've seen that she would have been in front of Rantanen if she would have continued on this route there, same way as Rantanen did, but she chose to go more to the north. And as you say, I think she lost like around 15 seconds there.
For 11 minutes right now. In 2 minutes time, she needs to be at the third team split.
So now we can have a look here, this comparison, Rantanen, Gross, and live with Alice Leek.
Paula
Gross was 9 seconds slower than Megan Antonen into 4th place. But it's really hard to tell from the GPS.
And this part, I think Rantanen executed very well. She has a good splits there from this last split time to the finish.
So Natalia Gempela is second in the World Cup standings. She's a European bronze medalist in the sprint discipline. And a picture of concentration here. She's had 2 4th places this weekend. A 4th in the middle and 4th in the knockouts. Can she get a medal today? This is Alice Leek into the finish. You can see she's already slower than Megan Antonen. And she will also go slower than her teammate Megan Carter-Davis, who's currently 3rd. Alice Leek, let's have a look at her time at the finish. She crosses the line 15 seconds slower than Megan Antonen, and we think she lost 15 seconds. Let's have a look here at these route choices. She's ahead of Janasikova as well.
I think if Janasikova is going straight there, she has a good chance to get in front of Rantanen. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, looks like Janasikova, neck and neck, maybe a little bit ahead, a few steps ahead of Rantanen there. And I think that route choice there from Alice Leek, losing her 15 seconds, made the difference there. So this is Janasikova, 2nd place in yesterday's knockout sprint. And this is going to be really close here. Look to be neck and neck with Megan Antonen at the last section, but we know the Finns really executed this one really well, the last part. So she's 2 seconds behind, and Teresa Janasikova really has to push, really has to execute this well if she has a chance of beating the Finn.
She knows that she has the speed to do so. She was very good yesterday, very good speed from her. And here we have Elena Roos starting into the competition. So she had a great race yesterday, ending up in 3rd position. Here we are with Julia Jakob.
Shows she's on her way to control number 10. She's taken, we think, the faster route choice.
But she was already 29 seconds behind at the pre-warning to the TV control.
Yes, and we can see here she's already going to be behind Teresa Janasikova, who's the leader there. So yes, Julia Jakob, the time ticking behind. This is control 10. The time split will be taken from the next control 11. But we are waiting at the finish for Teresa Janasikova. Will she execute the latter part of the race? She does have 4 races in her legs from yesterday. Some of the athletes running into the 20 kilometers. Let's have a look here at Simona Abersold.
And that's what we mentioned before. Better route going like this, more less distance to take from Abersold.
And Maja Sienoja here is the 2nd last starter. And we actually just missed, you could see in the picture there, Teresa Janasikova going into 2nd place. But here is Simona Abersold.
You named it. We just missed another runner that just missed at least 1 second or 2 seconds. Simona Abersold, but still it's a good start. A good first half into this competition by Simona Abersold.
And she takes the other route choice, the one we haven't seen quite so much. We're not sure which of the 2 is quicker at that point. This is her just missing this control.
Very typically, she was reading ahead the next route, and then not really focused on where the control would be placed.
Yeah, I think she was probably reading 11 to 12, getting that route choice maybe a bit further on as well. Anthony Benjaminson here but you can see she is already slower than the leaders. And seconds ticking by here. Very close in this competition so far. She goes 8th. So a reminder there, we saw Teresa Janasikova into 2nd place. Merja Rantanen really stacking up. This is Alexanderson though. She's already won the World Cup for 2019. She's won all the races so far, is a big favourite for today's as well. She's taken 6 straight overall wins in the World Cup. Now let's have another look at this replay. This is the route choice, one of the ones we haven't seen so much, 11 to 12. And looks good for Abersold.
We know the gap was 3 seconds at TV number 2. Well, let's say it's still tight.
Still very tight.
Might be only 1 second now. Hard to say. As we said earlier, hard to get some information about the exact times out of the GPS here. This is Sabine Hauswirth on the way to TV control 2.
And look, she is faster than Janasikova. Had a fantastic start. Sabine Hauswirth. You can see this is the route choice she's taking, and we'll get her time at control number 11. Crossing the road now, looks very strong, taking these opportunities to read the map.
That's a very good start. I think this will be quite a clear lead here for Sabine Hauswirth.
Oh, almost as pretty much does exactly the same as Simona Abersold. And you can really see she's taking a lot of detail in and closely reading the map, even though, look, this is a very easy leg. She's not looking at that one and takes the other route choice. But Hauswirth goes fastest, 8 seconds faster than Simona Abersold, and with the margins very tight at the moment, that's pretty good. Merja Rantanen, still the current leader, was the 5th starter. This has been a really great performance from the Finn. And back again with, we're live with Simona Abersold here, and what is...
Yeah, that's a mistake. She wouldn't have to go so much around. Don't know if she missed the entrance or if she just didn't see the option there.
Or maybe she was going to go round and then spotted a different route halfway through that she decided was better. Maybe.
I don't think that she would change in the middle of the execution of a leg like this.
But Abersold still ahead of Janasikova as we're live with the Swiss athlete.
The gap between the two runners was 14 seconds before. My feeling is that it's less now. So not perfect execution there.
And now Abersold, yep, needs to make sure she continues straight on there. Here's Natalia Gempela on her way to TV split number 2, controls 10 and 11. But Natalia Gempela is late, and again she's one of those that's just stepping a few steps.
But she expected it to be there.
You can see just how much everybody's reading the map to get the choices for the next couple of legs. Simona Abersold here to control number 15, and she goes faster than Merja Rantanen.
But as we said earlier, Merja Rantanen had a really good last part here.
12 seconds faster than anybody else for Tove Alexandersson. This is a flying start for Tove once again.
Merja Rantanen sitting here on the leader's chair. She's just received the news that Tove Alexandersson has gone through the run-in. Here she is, and she's gone 12 seconds faster than anybody else at this point.
Yeah, and 12 seconds faster on 4 minutes running time, so that's quite a big lead here.
So now we're live with Sabine Hauswirth, and you can see she's very close to Simona Aebersold. We know Simona Aebersold has then done something quite bizarre with control number 15. Here's Eleanor Ross.
Yeah, call it bizarre or a mistake.
I think it's a mistake. Eleanor Ross is in second though. Great performance. Swiss 1, 2, 3 at this point. Hauswirth, Ross and Aebersold. But into the finish now, we have Julia Jakob, and she goes 16th at that point. Simona Aebersold here, going into this second to last control. Is she finally going to take over the leader's chair from Merja Rantanen? She's going to pop out here, but where actually is she?
I think they missed her. Yes.
Oh yeah, we just missed her going out. She's so quick, but Aebersold is into the finish here, and surely now she's going to take the new leading time. The Swiss youngster goes fastest here on home soil. 15:01, goes 4 seconds faster than Merja Rantanen, and absolutely gave it her all here. Simona Aebersold, despite a mistake to 15, takes the lead. And Merja Rantanen gives up her seat on the leader's chair with only 5 runners still to go.
Once again, a very good performance by the young Swiss runner, Simona Aebersold. As we mentioned almost at every race the last days, we have never really seen a totally bad race by Aebersold since she changed from the juniors to the elite runners.
So we see this is Sabine Hauswirth. She took again a different route choice into control 15, but she's ahead of Rantanen and very close to Simona Aebersold, and it's going to be all about the execution of this final part of the course. So close here, and in fact she's going to be slower than Aebersold, but only by 4 seconds. So she slots in between Aebersold and Rantanen. And let's have a look now. We're looking at what Alexanderson is doing, and
yeah, that wasn't the best of all possible routes, but
it doesn't matter, it seems. And we should be seeing her now at controls 10 and 11. And look at that lead. Here she is. In fact, she's already... Oh no, this is a little mistake here.
Mistake, yes.
Because you have to go round this uncrossable fence wall.
It's also not the fastest route she's choosing there. But I mean, the gap, it was 14 seconds before.
And she's already punched that control. It's now 13 seconds. So she's leading by 13 seconds ahead of Sabine Hauswirth. This is her punching the control here. A little replay. And you can see actually she's not looking at her map. You see all of the others really looking at her map this one. She's evidently already made those decisions.
But when you came towards control 10 there, you could almost spot control 11. So if you have been reading ahead, you might not have to read the map there at all.
So Sabine Hauswirth, she is here. And she's at the second to last control. What's it going to be with, where is she going to slot in with Aebersold and Rantanen?
At the pre-morning, she had exactly the same time as Megan Carter-Davies, 1 second ahead of Rantanen.
And it's going to be really close here, but I don't think she's going to be fast enough to take the time ahead of Simona Aebersold. She goes second, so it's 3 seconds slower than Simona Aebersold, only 1 second quicker than Merja Rantanen. Goodness me. So close, and you can say everyone here kind of executing this last stage very well, but what's happening to Eleanor Ross? And you can see she's taken a good decision here and looking very strong on her way to control number 15.
Yeah, she was quite far behind at TV2. I mean, she was 6 seconds behind Sabine Hauswirth there. But now it looks really good here. That's a very fast time. Elena Roos 21 seconds ahead of Simona Apersold.
So now we're live with Tove Alexandersson, and as she goes from controls 13 to 14, but look, that's the gap that she has ahead of the others. Natalia Gempler here into the finish, and actually she must have caught up some time somewhere as well, because this is a fantastic end of the course for Natalia Gempler. She really has picked up the pace. She's not going to be faster than Abersold, but goes second position, 2 seconds slower than Simona Abersold, 1 second quicker than Sabine Hauswirth, 2 seconds quicker than Megan Antonen, and she was way down. She was 34 seconds down.
Yeah, but compared to Elena Roos, she was 13 seconds down compared to Simona Abersold. And soon we are waiting for Elena Roos at the last control, or the second last control at least. Here she is.
Yeah, and you can see from that tracking she's ahead of Abersold. So Elena Roos, she's got this last control to go, and then last couple of controls, and then into the finish. It's so tight here, but look at her. She's got a good gap here. You can see this. She's really had a strong last section of the race. She's managed to really be able to push and really execute that last part of the course really well, and in fact she will take a clear lead.
And she also secured the place in the top 3 by taking over the lead here, because there are only 2 runners who started after Elena Roos. That's Maja Sianoja and of course Tove Alexandersson from Sweden.
So Elena Roos is guaranteed a medal today. She's already taken one this weekend with a bronze in the knockout sprint. But Tove Alexandersson, goodness me, has taken the wrong route choice here, but I don't think it's going to matter.
No, I don't think so. And as we've seen, I mean, this one is very easy to execute, and with her ability to run very fast, I don't think she will lose a lot of time. There's one part very soon where she has to run down some stairs. That might be the very fastest. Okay, she has chosen to run around this part as well. So here she is.
And she goes 18 seconds faster. So Tove Alexandersson, but Elena Roos, I think, will be pleased to be in second behind her. Not quite sure where Maja Sianoja is. In fact, she was like 13th. She's out of it.
Alexandersson, she lost 7 seconds on this route compared to Elena Roos.
And chopping and diving between all the controls here. But she really close to the end here, just punching the 17th control. But she's got such a good gap. You can see the time counting down here. She's got 3 more controls to go. This is one of them. Oh, and yeah, of course, carries on. There's a barrier blocking her way. Punched it. She's got such a big lead. You can see just how quickly she is running through this terrain. And Alexandersson is on her way to take her 7th victory this season. Maja Sianoja here is going to be outside the top 10. Going 12th there. And now Alexandersson, you can see, here she is. This is the last control. So Alexandersson has proved she is master of all the disciplines as she goes into the run-in to take another victory this season. In the end, it is 16 seconds faster than Elena Roos. And Tove Alexandersson proves she is so superior to the competition and takes another victory today.
The big question now is there anyone who can beat Tove Alexandersson this year in the World Cup? She's been winning all the distances, all the races so far. And today it was 16 seconds in the sprint, but then also compared to the third position, Simona Absalon, just 43 seconds the gap down there. Well, that's a good race.
That's a fantastic race. And it wasn't even a perfect race. We saw she didn't make all the right route choices.
But no one really did the perfect race. I think we had Elena Roos, she lost some time in the beginning. We had Tove Alexandersson, she lost some time in the end. So no one with a perfect race, but it's very tough in a race like this where you have many route choice decisions to take, and it's not easy to spot them, that you hit all of them. Well, it's not that the chance for that is not very big. So if you have a good race and not losing very much time on the route choice, and of course you have the ability as Tove Alexandersson, you will end up at least in the top 3. Still, it's I don't know how does she do it. She's always there. She's always around. Of course, it's when you have the confidence that you, with an okay race, are in the top 3. You don't have the pressure on yourself that you have to do something special. You know that with a normal competition, you will end up in let's say, in the top 3 or top 5. Well, that's a very nice position to be in.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. She knows that she doesn't have to run at her 100% to win, I think, and that means that she's able to use that extra 5% for the navigation, which she generally keeps very clean. And even though she made those mistakes today, or some small mistakes today, it didn't really matter. She was fast enough for it not to matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we compare it to a runner like Megan Carter Davis, we heard her saying that she maybe overpaced in the beginning. That wouldn't happen to Tove Alexandersson because she knows that she doesn't have to do it. Megan Carter Davis, you can. I mean, in her position, you can start very aggressively and hope that you will make it all the way through. And I think that's an okay tactic for a runner like her. But Tove Alexandersson, she doesn't have to do it.
Well, I think we saw for Alexandersson in the knockout sprint, she kind of picked it up after the arena passage and in the middle distance as well. Like, she was not that much quicker than Simona Abashold at the beginning, but was able to either pick it up or keep at that level when others weren't able to match it in the second part of the race.
And let's not forget that the big difference is physically they appear after 12, 13, 14 minutes of running, maybe in a sprint. In the middle distance it's even later, so I think it's there where she really used it to open the gap and not in the first. Okay, today it was already from the start, but usually she's able to do that in the last parts of a race, as we have seen yesterday in the knockout sprint, for example.
So we will hold on with the celebrations for the women's sprint for the moment and move on to the men's sprint final, where we've already had 9 men begin their routes, begin their courses, and they've had a little longer spell in quarantine to get themselves in the zone, and warming up here. And again, we have the 40 men in this A final who qualified from a mixture of World Cup standings and also of qualifications from yesterday's knockout sprint. So the men's course is a little bit longer. Jonas, do you want to chat us through this men's course?
Yes, we have quite a similar start as we have had in the women's race. First loop in the Old Town here in Laufen. As we mentioned earlier, it's kind of the same characteristics as we had yesterday in the knockout sprint, so definitely not a disadvantage for the runners who have been running yesterday. Of course, they used some power yesterday, but when it comes to the orienteering technique, that's not a disadvantage. It might give you some confidence. when you can run at a place you have been running before. And then out on the second loop you have this very long leg here. It's a different one compared to the women's course. We will see the options later on. We go from 9 to 10 and 11, the same controls as we have seen in the women's race TV, control number 2.
Galten heading into the finish right there, and the first finish time in a men's race today, 14:32.
Then again, this route choice from 11 to 12. Also here we have seen two different options, 13, 14, and then same route choice again as earlier. We have seen some different routes chosen by the runners. We have seen Tove Alexandersson running all the way around, which wasn't the fastest option. The TV control here when we come back into the Old Town. And then the last part again in Laufen, the Old Town here. 21-22, the last controls, and back to the arena and finish. So quite a similar course as we have seen before. Different route here out after the arena passage. Interesting one because you have a map change, so you can't really prepare it. I would say that's even more important here to pick the right route. I think they are. It's a bigger difference in distance. I'm not totally sure about it, but that's my feeling. And my feeling is also that it's better to take the red one than the blue one. But we might get some information about the distances later on.
Now he is 25 seconds faster than Gaute Hammerstever, so maybe a very good route choice there.
And here, surprisingly for me, we have seen that they were not really executing it perfectly. Many of the runners who were running the blue route before, and we see now here it's 30 minutes difference. That's quite a lot. When you maybe not in when you think about 30 meters, but if you, I mean, it was around 500-600 meters, then in percentage that's quite a bit. There are some seconds to lose if you choose the wrong route there.
So again, we're going to be focusing on these 40 runners who've qualified for this A final, with our last starter at 7 minutes past 3 will be Daniel Hubman, European and world champion. But we've already had the first 12 runners out there. Albin Liederfeld has just come in for second place, and the current leader is Gaute Hallensteiber in 14 minutes 32. Let's have a look at these route choices, and this is what we were talking about, being able to execute this choice to control number 9.
But I don't think that neither of them has really chosen the fastest one. There's an option if you take the numbers 17 and 20 in between there, where we had the women's control earlier. There's an option to go a little bit more straight and save some more meters. But otherwise, a good option for sure to go more to the north through control 9.
This is control, must be control 9.
Haven't seen it before.
And now Ralph Street punts the pre-warning, but he has lost a lot of time between the second team split and the pre-warning, but he will take the lead away from Gaute Hallensteiber in a short while. So Ralph is on his way.
Emil Albeck here.
Very soon.
Again, there's a route choice between 9 and 10. He looks to be going east of the line here. These two different controls for the women's. This is, but we can see here most of those taking the same route here.
Into the finish, and the time for Ralph today, 14 minutes and 23 seconds. 9 seconds down to Gaute Hallensteiber. It was 25 seconds. He has lost some 15 seconds. In the very end here of the course today, Ralph Street.
Neue Bestzeit im Ziel. Ralph Street, der Brite, liegt 9
So we
Sekunden
know,
vor dem Norweger Hallenstein.
Those the other two marked on that GPS, they've already finished. So Emil Albeck gonna the moment between those two runners, and this is the control 10. We'll get the time at the next one. But you can see he's already slower than Ralph Street and Olaf Lundenes. Emil Albeck.
Some seconds behind Ralph Street, as you can see.
Losing some time, goes fourth.
Position 21 seconds behind Ralph Street, 21 seconds behind for Emil Albeck, also Norway. And now we got Olaf Lundenes to the pre-warning.
And Ralph Street has just come in with a new leading time, leading by 9 seconds, but he did have a lead of 25 seconds faster than Gert Hallenstever at control number 15.
Yeah, we have some tracking here for Ralph Street. He did a great race yesterday. We all remember his semi-final when he passed the others at the towards the second last control, or the last control.
Let's see, second, yes, 14:31, 8 seconds behind Ralph Street and 1 second ahead of Gert Hallenstever.
Wann kommt Tobias Bezzati zur zweiten Zwischenzeit? Er ist seit 7 Minuten 15 unterwegs.
And still none of them taking that small gap that makes them go via control 20. But live with that going insane. And I'm sure we will see it going insane at control number 9. Looking for him. There he is.
5 seconds faster than Ralph Street or Tobias.
The Austrian here will go and punch to control just there.
Since quite many years.
And take the same route choice as the others towards control 10, and then we'll get the time check at control number 11.
Here we have the comparison. We see that Ralph Street chose to go to the west there. As we have seen in the women's race, that's not the fastest option.
Well, there are different controls here on the men's, so I'm not sure what is the quicker option.
Well, let's take a look at the splits. I think that Street lost some seconds there.
On his way to the church, and this split, but he is late. Will not beat Tobias Bezzati after the on Norway, heading into the finish.
So see here.
So he's later than Ralph Street and later to than Tobias Bezzati, who's taken the new lead at that time, the Swiss runner.
Seen if we compare Gernot Umsén and Ralph Street, the gap was 13 seconds before. Now it's 19, so maybe it was a good route anyway.
Now into the finish, Adon Heimdall went into 5th position, as you can see there. Leader still Ralph Street. This is Tobias Bezzati. You're looking at his routes there. Looks... it's hard to tell with the speed how to compare the speeds of those two runners. But what is clear is that Tobias Bezzati is faster than Ralph Street. He's ahead of Ralph Street at this point with taking this route choice. We're not sure where Ralph Street, he's lost like 15 seconds in from control 15 to the end.
But we can say that the gap at control 14 was 7 seconds. The gap between Tobias Bezzati and Ralph Street. And now we also get the GPS of Olaf Lundenes, king of the long distance, into the picture here. Sprint is not really his favorite distance, but he did quite a good job yesterday by qualifying to the semi-finals.
Yeah, he's already finished, has Olaf Lindenez. He's currently in second place.
8 seconds behind Ralph Street, who's leading here at the finish.
So,
As you said earlier, we know that Ralph Street is going to lose some time here. And I also think that Tobias Pezzati will do that, because that might not be the best route here.
well, we saw Alice Leak lose about 15 seconds, we reckon, as a result of that route choice there. But we also know, as you just mentioned, Ralph Street's lost some time between controls 15 in the end. Lindenez also taking that same route choice. He's current second place. But we will see the Swiss athlete very soon. We're live with his tracker. Here he is. In fact, going down those steps. He didn't manage to avoid those like we saw Alexanderson do, and goes through this very...
Almost a crash there.
Control is here, and I feel like, yep, you can see there he's lost time, 12 seconds behind Ralph Street, but Ralph Street lost like 15 seconds at the end, so this is going to be tight for the lead, Tobias Pezzati.
But he was 7 seconds ahead earlier, so he lost 19 seconds here.
I think both from going round and then going down the steps, as you said before, that slows you down, makes you lose some time as Christoph Meyer goes third at TV control number 2. Ralph Street waiting nervously here, bronze medalist from yesterday's knockout sprint. You know, Tobias Pezzati is on his way, and he made some mistakes too, as Kasper Fosser starts his campaign. Silver medalist from this year's World Championships long distance. But I believe also, you know, he's got good results from Junior World Championships too. Now we're looking at live tracking from Christoph Meyer compared to the other runners. Pezzati, who is about to challenge Street for the lead. Street, the current leader at the finish, and Swiss athlete is slightly slower. Very tight though, still at this point.
Myers live in this picture. We're waiting very soon for Tobias Pezzati to the pre-warning. We're also waiting for the next start, and it's from France, Lucas Basset, next to start. And this is
Gonna insane here to control number 15, but you can see he's already slower than the leaders.
Seconds behind at the first T-split today. And he's still quite many seconds behind, too many, waiting for Tobias Pezzati very soon to the pre-warning. Emil Aldic going into the finish. 45 seconds behind, still no punch.
I'm saying they're just missing the passageway to go to control 16.
Close battle now for the lead between Ralph Street sitting in lead, 14:23, and
Quite difficult to see, and then he goes back the same way. There's a route choice there, and this is where Ralph Street made his mistake, just going in one street too early. There you can see that's where he made his mistake to control number 17.
To beat Ralph Street 14:23, but let's see, still no punch at the last control for
Also,
Tobias.
this one seems, for me, it's quite a typical mistake if you're reading ahead and I'm not really focused on the leg you're executing at the moment. And then the finish now, Tobias Pezzati.
And he goes second
1 second.
by 1
behind.
second. Whoa, goodness me, 1 second in it. So despite Ralph Street's mistake at control number 17, Tobias Pezzati could not catch up enough time. So we can say Pezzati making his mistakes on the route choice to 15. That's where he lost, I think he said before, about 19 seconds. So the Swiss athlete, who was so impressive in the knockout sprint, into second place. Jonas Ecker begins his race now midway through this start list. He took 12th place in the middle distance on Friday, but didn't qualify from the knockout sprint to the knockout stages.
Yeah, pity for Pezzati. He was showing a great race again until this route choice mistake. He was one of the runners who really put his footprint on the competition yesterday by choosing to do his own race, and was very smart in his route choice decisions. Unfortunately, it wasn't really the same today. We see it here coming when he goes all the way around.
So Maya, I think, will have lost a little bit of time, a few seconds perhaps, on this route choice to control number 15. But let's see what the difference is to Ralph Street, and also to Tobias Pezzati, because we know Ralph Street making that mistake to control the 17 that we've seen on the GPS tracking, and the Swiss runner has a chance of making it into the lead. He's got 14 seconds behind, so he's slower, crucially, than Pezzati, who has just gone into second place.
And at TV2, Christoph Meyer was 2 seconds behind Ralph Street, so he lost 12 seconds here in this route choice.
So it goes back through the passageway here. And look, this is where we can see these GPS tracking. This is the mistake made by Ralph Street. He's, very just losing focus. A pretty
it's only
mistake to make.
Not only that he chooses the wrong road there or street, it's also that he runs too far in. He should notice earlier that the control should come after like 20 meters, but he's running in 40 meters almost. So he was a bit unfocused there on the length between 16 and 17.
So this is going to be really close here. Christoph Meyer has the chance of beating Ralph Street, and from the GPS tracking it looks like he's ahead. It's going to be really close, and it's really difficult for us to tell from the GPS tracking, but Ralph Street current leader by 1 second ahead of Pezzati. Let's have a look now. We're looking at Kasper Fosse.
Another runner with a good start here. You know that Pezzati had a great start, lost it in the end. Kasper Fosse here, the medalist from the long distance race at the World Championships.
Here's the Norwegian.
Sprint team, Peter Hodgson with number 127.
This is control number 9.
Now we are following Kasper Fosse.
Looking very strong, very fast through this point.
With a very, very good end of this course, and probably a new best time zone for Christoph Meyer, Switzerland.
The gap between Fosse and Pezzati at the arena passage was 2 seconds.
And you can see there they've taken that same route choice very close. We haven't quite determined yet which is the quicker of these two route choices here from control 9 to 10. And we're looking for Christoph Meyer here at the finish. Is it going to be a new best time? It looks good for the Swiss runner, who crosses the line and takes a new leading time, 14 minutes, 17 seconds. Goes 6 seconds faster than Ralph Street. Great end of the course, I think. Really managed to execute that one really well. Managed to push it faster than Tobias Pezzati as well on the final stages.
Well, it was quite a good race all the way. No big mistakes, but still we know Pezzati, he would have had a better speed, but he lost it in the very end. So still there's potential for better times for sure. But a good performance by Christoph Meyer.
Yeah, very good performance, and we just saw there on the picture Kasper Fosse taking the lead at control number 11. Christoph Meyer into the leader's chair there. Fantastic performance there from the new current leader. Now let's look at Kasper Fosse. He's in the green, and he's a little bit quicker than Pezzati. He was 3 seconds faster than Pezzati at control number 11. Again, all these runners taking same routes here towards control number 12.
And we are in the last third of the start list very soon. It's 40 runners in total. This is Luca Bassi on his way to
Luca Basset here at control number 10. We're getting the time check from the next one, but it's been a good start from the Frenchman. Semi-finalist in the knockout. So he's one of those athletes who has been running around this old town before. Not going to take the lead, but in touching distance.
And look out for this guy now, taking his first ever World Cup victory on Friday and ending up in second place yesterday. Definitely in great shape this weekend.
Yeah, I think the athletes were all presented to the crowds earlier, and the biggest cheer went up for Joey Haddon.
Yeah, what a weekend for you, Haddon. One win.
He's had fantastic results already this competition. Can he keep it up? Now Casper Foster, different routes there, and that's pushed him down the standings as a result of that. So much better to go back out to the west.
It's late, 1:24 behind the current leader, Christopher Meyer. Casper Foster been out for some 10 minutes. So in 1.5 minutes, he should be at the 15th control there.
And now this route to control 15, we're live with Casper Fosse.
Norway also passed through arena here at the same time you had Lawrence started, and Øystein 8 seconds behind. And Peter Hodgkinson, Great Britain, passes through arena 11 seconds behind.
At the start, Milos Nikodem took a World Cup win in the middle distance at the end of last year on home soil. Is really going to be targeting those World Championships in the Czech Republic in 2 years' time.
He had some problems with injury during the summer, had a broken toe, so was not in his best shape at the World Championships.
He's in the very end of the course now, so very soon the free warning from Ricardo.
Christoph Meyer still on the leader's chair. Let's have a look at this route choice. We're looking particularly at Casper Fosse, and has taken the best route choice, we think, there.
Know that they were within more or less 4 or 5 seconds, all three of them. So not a good route by Christoph Meyer there.
And this is Casper Fosse on his way to control 15. Will he have taken the lead away from Ralph Street? At this point, bearing in mind we know Ralph Street makes a mistake to control 17. So great performance here from the Norwegian. Casper Fosse goes second place, 3 seconds slower than Ralph Street, but if he executes this last part of the course well, he's on track for a new leading time. Robert Merle, he's about to start. Didn't qualify for any of the knockout stages of the knockout sprint yesterday. A lot of runners were really thrown by the tricky controls in the castle and the barriers and everything that were put up. So some names missing out. As Robert Merle made it to the final of the World Cup. The knockout sprint at the World Cup last year. Now, Casper Fosse here, we can see we're live with his GPS tracker. A replay again of Ralph Street's mistake, but the Norwegian looks to be keeping it clean here.
Ricardo Scalle hat Zeit verloren auf Christoph Meyer bis zum drittletzten Posten. In wenigen Augenblicken sehen wir den Italiener beim letzten Posten.
Ricardo Scalle here, and it's looking good for him to take a new second best time. The Italians had a great run around here. Goes equal seconds.
In the background you could also spot Joey Haddon with a new best time at the arena passage, 2 seconds faster than Tobia Pezzati.
Here's Luca Basset, and he's only 7 seconds slower than Ralph Street, or 4 seconds slower than Casper Fosse. So still going well, Luca Basset.
4 Sekunden hinter Vosser und vor allem 7 Sekunden vor Meyer.
Looking very good, and we're now waiting for Kasper Fosser at the finish. We'll shortly see Luca Basse there. We're now live with Luca Basse. These different route choices to control 17.
The expected winning time actually today. So Kasper on his way to new best time, absolutely. And Luca Basse only 4
Here is the Norwegian. This is the last control. And look at the gap. It's looking good for Kasper Fosser to take a new best time here. Kasper Fosser takes the lead. 14 minutes and 5 seconds. He goes 12 seconds quicker than Christoph Meyer.
So it's always interesting when we get a young runner to the seniors as Kasper Fosser. Now we have the proof that he is a good sprinter as well, not only very strong in long distance. Good race today. We have seen many runners who started well but did a mistake somewhere on the way. But it seems that Kasper Fosser, he had some a minor route choice problem from control 12 to 13 when he lost some seconds. But no very big mistake as we have seen the other runners taking or doing. And here is Andreas Kiburz in his very last World Cup race back home in Switzerland. He will retire in the end of the season. The bronze medalist from the World Championships in sprint last year. So the reigning bronze medalist.
Indeed, yeah, no sprint at the World Championships this year. But now let's have a look at Joey Haddon. He was in the lead at the arena passage, and you can see he is still in the lead there. Here is the Swiss runner here on his way to control number 10. Oh, just missed there that you could turn into that to the car park. And going round here, we're going to get the time in a couple of controls to see if he's going to take the new leading time. It's looking good for the Swiss sprinter.
Yeah, but he was running a bit too far around there. He could have shortened his route with by some meters, so I think he will lose there, let's say 3-4 seconds.
But you can see the time is still good. He's going to go faster than Kasper Fosser, who is the leader at the finish. So Joey Haddon goes 7 seconds quicker than Kasper Fosser.
It was 4 seconds at the arena passage, and this is Luca Basse.
Yeah, Luca Basse into the finish, second place there. 1 second slower than Kasper Fosser. So close there as we see Ruslan Glibov start his run.
We can also say that the punch at the last control, they had exactly the same time, Kasper Fosser and Luca Basse. So 1 second faster finish from the Norwegian youngster Kasper Fosser.
But Basse looks very happy with his run. A lot of the performances today are going to be giving answers about how people's sprint form is when they haven't been sprinting for a year or so, since maybe the World Cup final last year. No, I don't think that is a mistake. Oh, it is a mistake from Haddon. It is a mistake from Haddon. As we see Jonas Ecker into the finish. But he goes into 7th position. Now, we've seen a mistake from...
The mistake is you have to be very careful to keep to the house there to get the entrance. If you follow the road in there, you end up in a dead end.
It's quite odd there because it's building works and it's big like crowd barrier fences that have been put up. That's what the fence is that's marked there. So it's really odd when you go. You have to spot the gap, and it's not what you'd kind of imagine the fence to look like before you get there. Florian Hovald, he begins his race 7th position in the middle distance on Friday. He didn't qualify for the knockout stages of the knockout sprint, so he hasn't been running around here before. Let's have another look at this
Take
GPS
a look,
from
he is
Hadon.
staying on the street there, not following the house into this passage. I think that Kasper Fosse did the same mistake, at least for some meters. And then he was choosing the good option though, so he still remains in the lead.
Yeah, that's despite the mistake, he kind of almost won back that time with the good route choice from 12 to 13.
You can't really win back. You can say the others lost the other time. But I think the approach there should be that you come around the corner and in your head you have to know that you should run towards the house and follow the house into this entrance. If you're not doing it, if you just have in your head that you come around there and go to the left and follow the entrance, then you will end up in the street. So you have to be very carefully and planning your route ahead there.
Emil Svensk here about to begin, 6th place in the middle distance, made the semi-finals of the knockout sprints in the last couple of days. He was someone with impressive results from the forest in the spring. And now this is a test of his sprinting. Let's have another look at Joey Hadon here.
That's a mistake.
Yes.
That's not a good route. If you are out there, you should definitely go the way Fosse and Pasiver's running. So he planned it right. I think there was a problem in the execution, so he wasn't prepared that he had to go to the left there. He missed it, and he will lose a lot of time doing this mistake.
Yeah,
my feeling is that if we sum up all the mistakes, that's he has lost too much time there.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the case. Joey Hadon here, so you're going to get the time at control 15, but you can see he's losing time. But we've got to compare it to the likes of Kasper Fosse.
Even here, I had the feeling that he was not really prepared where to go. We saw the volunteer there pointing into a direction, so he wouldn't run out to the traffic. So it felt that, of course, on the map you see that you can't run out there, but still he was not really prepared to go to the left.
Goes back on himself here on this route choice. Jumping through those, enjoying their lunch, enjoying the world-class competitions that we have here. Back at the start, Gustav Berman beginning his campaign. 5th place in both the middle and the knockout sprints. He's the World Cup leader, the World Championships relay champion.
Here we see that now it's Kasper Fosse in the lead. So we had lost the lead there to control 15.
And we must remember Luca Basse is currently in 2nd place, 1 second slower than Kasper Fosse.
It's quite obvious that we have many runners, and I mean we have Ralph Street who's still in the lead at control 16, but we also have Tobia Pezzati who had a great start but did his mistake to control 15. We have Joey Hadon who has had a great start but then started to do mistakes at control what was it, 12 and then 15, so many runners who do mistakes on the way here somewhere. Not everyone at the same place, but it's obvious that it's not an easy sprint.
Okay, back again at the start, Martin Regborn into the last 10 starters. Martin Regborn again, someone who didn't qualify for the knockout stages yesterday. Joey Hadon here into the last control, second to last control, and the time ticking down here.
He was 7 seconds behind at the last TV control.
Now this could be good, I think. Take the lead, he's got the crowd on his side, he's got those fast legs. We're going to have to wait and see as the seconds count down. What is it going to be for Joey Hadon? He goes fastest by 2 seconds, and just those quick legs at the end. But he could have had such a big lead. I think he really lost time there to control 12 on the route choice to 15. So that just shows there's a potential for others to go faster.
Now he's sitting there in the tree construction built by his father. Joey Hadorn, yeah, he proves that he has a great shape, but still, I mean, he has to learn. Maybe that's also a thing you can do with a bit more routine, that he doesn't have to over push it, he doesn't have to overpace. Take back some seconds to really be sure that you're going right, that you're choosing, because it was not that he took wrong route choices, it was that he wasn't focused by executing them, and that's just the sign that he's running a bit too fast. He could take it a bit more carefully in some parts, of course, when later on when it's an easy part in front of you, just push. But he has to learn to work with the speed there on the course. But still, I mean, he's in the lead. If he just got the time without the GPS track here, we would say it was a good run.
Yeah.
But we also see the potential, so it's...
That's the thing, we see the potential for other people to run, not only to run faster, but make fewer mistakes. And
we also see the potential what time he could have run without his mistakes. I mean, he could have been, that's the first mistake there, he should have been closer to the line.
Yeah.
I think almost half a minute he could be faster. So now he's leading by 2 seconds, he could be leading by more than half a minute.
I agree there, Florian Hovald. So this is cutting the gap off here that we said.
Yeah, but not doing it very well either.
Hesitating there, climbing over that wall. And you can see he's going to be late on the lead of Joey Hadorn. This is control number 10. He's about to punch now.
12 seconds behind Joey Hadorn for Gustav Bergman. And Florian Hovald on his way now to the TV split. Some seconds behind, as we saw from the GPS. And let's see how many seconds it will be for Florian Hovald.
Florian Hovald here, dropping down now.
Very interesting start here with
and again, he's not very well prepared. You could almost see it when he's running. It's not. It doesn't look that powerful, that distinct as we are used to see him in sprint competitions.
Chris Jones just starting his race there, European bronze medalist. Got confused in the beginning of the knockout sprint, saw a control, thought it was the start control, and the start was actually further back, and ended up just kind of...
Is it a mistake? For sure it's not. I think it's just the GPS tracking, but it's a bad route.
Yeah.
Aspect. Yeah, you mentioned Chris Jones, that he took the control as a mistake as the starting point, but he was there at the semi-final. He should know that it's not the starting point. It was clear on the map.
The start was a difference to starting point in the semi-final to the final.
Yeah, it was, but he punched the control he took for the starting point at the semi-final. So no one else was doing it. If five runners is going to the right, you're the only one continuing. Well, sometimes if everyone else is doing strange things, it might be you who is actually the strange guy.
I think so. So Emil Svensk here on his way to control number 10, and then 11 where we'll get the time, and we can see that he's lost time. So he was 8 seconds down on the time of Joey Hadorn at the arena passage, and he's lost 20 plus 30 seconds as a result of that route choice, you think. So one of the only ones we've seen going south on that choice to number 9, and he's lost considerable amount of time there.
Zweite Kral starting, the winner from yesterday. Also the winner of World Cup race in sprint 2 years ago.
So now we're looking at the addition of Ruslan Glibov, the Ukrainian here. Oh, mistake, small mistake there.
So he didn't choose the best route, and then he did a mistake. I don't really know
I'm
what
trying
he
to think.
thought.
Why would you even need to turn right?
We will never know.
No.
Unless we ask him. But I got the feeling that he doesn't know himself.
Ruslan Glebov there. Okay, we can see his time now. So his miss, losing seconds to control 15, it's going to put him down in 10th position.
But even Ruslan Glebov, wrong entrance there. Even Ruslan Glebov, I mean, for me it seems that this mistake is almost around 20 seconds, and now he is 22 seconds behind. So we have many runners who have the potential to be higher up in the result list.
So looking now at Martin Regborn. Now that's...
and then he's taking,
is he taking the underpass?
The tunnel, yeah. So that's why he didn't see the passage there. And we see the effect of it, the result of it. He's lost some 10 seconds there. Here, you don't see it again. That's the point where Joey Haddon did his first mistake.
Andreas Kibertz in here to the finish, taking 4th position. Equal 4th position, equal with Christoph Meyer. Very close here.
In his last race on home soil in the World Cup.
Thanks everybody for the support.
Yeah, great sportsman. I think everyone, he's the kind of runner who he's never out there and leaving big words about anyone or himself. Very humble person, great sportsman. It's a pity that he's retiring quite early, but of course, if you feel that you're not so motivated anymore, it might be the best decision.
Yannick Mikkel starting there, as we just saw Martin Regborn into 4th place at control number 11. Now this is an interesting name, one of the definite sprint specialists who has kind of been having a year more away from orienteering, does a lot of track races. And now looking at Martin Hubman again, so where the direction he's gone into control 9, we see he's taken that southern route choice, the same as we saw from Emil Svensk, and losing time as a result. So definitely want to go north to control number 9. And now we can follow Martin Hubman into control number 10 and 11. Maybe get a new split, but he's doing very well on this section, kind of hurdling, little jump.
Elegant jump there.
But you can see there he's already late compared to the time of Joey Haddon.
Europameister, so auch im Sprint letztes Jahr in Tessin. Gewann 5-mal den Gesamtweltcup. Und der Ruhigam Rickdahl, Matthias Kiburz.
Martin Hubman goes 11th and taking a route choice that we haven't often seen for this one. There's the little, kind of like a little gazelle leap over the wall there. And at the start, Matthias Kibertz, second to last starter, European champion.
You could really see how he was talking to himself at the start point, maybe going through some minor points he has in mind that would be important today. It's very good to get in the right mood and getting focused. And a very strong start here by Chris Jones. I mean, we knew that's the point where we said that Haddon didn't execute it very well. You see the effect here, pretty good. So a great start by Chris Jones.
And he makes the running look really, really easy. It doesn't look like he's going very quickly, but he's the Welsh and Scottish 5K champion, and he's really fast on the track, been doing a lot of that over the last year. Was, to quote him, doing some panic sprint training before the British Championships a couple of weeks ago that he then won. And I think that's the case for a lot of the traditional sprinters here. But look at Martin Regborn.
Smaller mistake there towards control 13. It'll be interesting to see if we have Chris Jones as the first runner who gets through without any bigger mistakes here.
So Daniel Hubman, he is the final starter, the European champion, the world champion. and we'll see what he can do.
And as we have seen the race progressing so far, we have seen many mistakes, and Hoopman is one of the runners who might not be up there really in the speed as we've seen yesterday, but he is a runner who is very, very, very good in executing sprint competitions. So if the others continue doing mistakes, as we see Hadon, as you see Martin Rekborn here, then there's a big chance for Daniel Hoopman for another good result here in a sprint competition.
So Martin Rekborn taking this route choice, that will lose him maybe about 15 seconds. Well, depends whether he goes down these steps or not on this route choice. Going down that steps, losing them some time. And soon we're going to see Rekborn. Here he is, so he hasn't gone down those steps. Goes round towards control number 15. We're going to get that time check from him. But he will have lost some time with that route choice. But still into 6th position.
13 seconds behind Ralph Street, but comparing Joey Hadorn, he's only 3 seconds behind Joey at that point of the course. Martin Rekborn, Sweden.
But compared to Ralph Street, he lost more than 10 seconds there.
Wojtek Kral here on his way to control number 11, on his way to the split time control. Again, one of those making it look very easy. We know he's got really fantastic speed. He's 16 seconds slower than Chris Jones here. Yeah, he's just making it look so easy. And we're looking now at Kral compared to Hadon and Foster, who are current number 1 and number 2 at the finish. He's slotting in between them, but we know we've seen mistakes from Joey Hadon and I think from Kasper Foster as well. Kasper Foster lost time on his route choice from 12 to 13. Hadon, you can see him making that mistake there as well. So the door kind of opens for Wojtek Kral to take possible advantage there.
Here we have Matthias Kiburtz, the arena passage. He punched the control there, 4 seconds behind Chris Jones. We also had Yannick Michels there, 1 second behind. And the leader in the finish, Joey Hadorn, at this control in 3rd position, 3 seconds behind. So very close, of course, after 3 minutes and 40 seconds approximately. Oh, now we saw there that Wojtek Kral didn't choose the best option.
Martin Hoopman, he is late. He's lost some time, 36 seconds slower than the lead. Tim Robertson here. He's on his way to control number 11. Let's get the time. And he goes 28. He's lost a significant amount of time. It'll be interesting to see what his route choices were. Tim Robertson's not had the best of competitions this weekend. He is the current silver medalist with the World Championships, but Yannick Michels is chasing Tim Robertson, and it looks very good for Yannick Michels. Although he's going to take the time for the next one as Martin Rekborn finishes equal 4th again. 3 runners in equal 4th. Christoph Meyer, Andreas Kiburtz, Martin Rekborn, all of them in equal spot. This is Yannick Michels. What's his time going to be compared to that of Chris Jones? He's 3 seconds slower than Chris Jones, so those two leading the way at the moment.
And
10 seconds faster.
Talking about Chris Jones, he was there at TV3. We didn't see him in the picture, but we see him now, and he is very, very fast. He is 24 seconds faster than Ralph Street at that point. And Ralph Street, we know it, he did a big mistake just after his control. So impressive run here by Chris Jones so far.
So he's 34 seconds faster than our current leader, Joey Hadorn, and he really is flying. I think Joey Hadorn knows that it's going to have to be a big mistake from Chris to for him not to take the new leading time. This is the GPS tracking we can see. Looks pretty clean for Chris Jones here. Still 4 controls to go.
Yeah, it's an understatement to say it looks pretty clean. It looks very, very, very good for Chris Jones.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, okay? And he's going to be soon at the pre-warning, which is
Usually
control
you are
20.
the one overdoing it when the Brits are coming. Now I have to take your job.
Damit kommen nur noch 5 nach.
I've got to try and stay impartial as much as I can. Come on, we've got loads of fast guys still out
In
there
this
yet
case,
to
you're
come.
allowed to do it because it's a
Okay.
very good run. And I think this looks, also if we look at the other runners coming, it's Yannick Michels who is very close. But otherwise,
Wojtek Kral's just gone through TV3. He's 18 seconds slower than Chris Jones. So we have the punch from Chris Jones at the pre-warning. He is 31 seconds faster than Kasper Foster. He is taking seconds all the time in this last section. Marvin Hubman crosses the line, 17th position for the Swiss runner here. Here is Chris Jones. He's just got the running to go now. Chris Jones in for a new leading time here. It's going to be good for the Brits to take, and it's going to be a big margin. He's caught seconds every single point on this last loop. He goes fastest. Chris Jones 13, 31, 32 seconds faster than Joey Haddon, and takes the new leading time there. Absolutely collapses over the line. He's really wanted to lay something down after his disappointing, well, I don't know. He said he wasn't too disappointed. He was glad to get to the final yesterday, but I mean, I think he could have been in a medal potential for the knockout sprint. So,
first of all, I'm very happy you got your enthusiasm back here. Of course, he did a great performance. We didn't see any mistakes here, Chris Jones. So, well, this will definitely be a good result for Chris Jones, the medalist at the European Champs last year. And this is Matthias Kiburtz in the picture. We have him there at TV. Control number 2 is 15 seconds behind Chris Jones. So that's quite a gap, especially when we know that Chris Jones didn't do any mistakes later on in the course, as far as we know at least.
no, it doesn't look like it. And he kind of seemed from the tracking to be able to accelerate on the latter part of the course, and really, like, that's what he was able to do with his speed. And it's going to come back to what you were talking about, how long can these runners keep up this speed? They've got, leading time currently 13:31, and it's all about that.
This is Wojtek Kral in the picture, on his way to the second last control. Oh, small mistake
Oh,
there.
yeah, small mistake. You've got to go into the second to last little notch there. And making small mistake there. So Wojtek Kral, you can see he's already slower than Chris Jones. The winner in yesterday's knockout sprint already won 2 of 2 knockout sprints that have been held at this Orienteering World Cup. But not quite as good today, but goes second best, still goes faster than Joey Haddon. So now we get the real fast guys here, and Yannick Michels is one of them. He's caught up Tim Robertson, and he's gone faster than Chris Jones. 5 seconds faster than Chris Jones here on this last section. So if he can keep that going, then he's going to have the new leading
But
time and
at
change
this
different
point,
routes.
I think he chose a slightly slower route. So let's see, that's the chance for Chris Jones to get to maybe win some of this, or not win back, as I said before, but it's a risk here for Yannick Michels that he loses some of the seconds he had in advantage compared to Chris Jones.
So let's have a look. We're looking here mostly for Matthias Kiburtz. And so again, the mistake from Joey Haddon. Kiburtz there. And now he can... Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so Chris Jones choosing a different route choice there. But Matthias Kiburtz, I think, also not choosing the optimal route choice, and Joey Haddon not choosing the optimal route choice. So I think therefore, if you're thinking about some of the later starters, Daniel Hubman, opportunities to catch up.
And I think that's the reason why we have Yannick Michels in the lead at control 15. Chris Jones not choosing or not executing the route very well there when he was running through the park again, where we have control 12. So he should have turned right in again on the street where control 13 is located.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what route was taken by Yannick Michels. This is Matthias Kiburtz on his way to control number 15. Cheers for him, but you can see he's 5-6 seconds slower than Chris Jones, 11 seconds slower than Wojtek Kral. But not.
We know that Yannick Michels, he chooses another route later on to the next control, and we are waiting for him very soon to the last control. And here we also see that Kiburtz is taking the same route as Yannick Michels. And here he is on the way to the second last control.
It's going to be really close. There's seconds in it from the pre-warning, but actually this looks pretty good. 18 seconds counting down here. I think we just missed him out on the camera. There he is, Yannick Michels. Can he take the new leading time here? The Belgian sprint specialist rounds the corner. It's going to be close with Yannick Michels and Chris Jones, but I think Michels will take the new best time. He does by 2 seconds. So Yannick Michels, the Belgian, has a new leading time here at this sprint of the World Cup by 2 seconds. So lost maybe 3 seconds from the route choice from Control 15, but the same running speed there as Chris Jones. It's going to be really interesting to see what route choice was run by Yannick Michels on to Control 15. As we've seen, not everybody doing the right thing there. So now we've got 2 runners yet still to go. We're looking for Matthias Kibert and Daniel Hubman, but we can see here the routes from Daniel Hubman. He's taken what we think is the right route choice, but it doesn't look like he's got the speed to be able to be a contender. He's slower than Wojtek Kral, who's in current bronze medal position. So Daniel Hubman is too slow here today. We're still waiting for Matthias Kibert, though. He was only 11 seconds slower than Yannick Michels. If he's able to have good speed on this last part, we don't know what's going to happen. This is Daniel Hubman punching there, and he's gone 7th, 36 seconds behind Michels.
Very soon we are waiting for Matthias Kibert at the second last control. And he is still in the fight for the 3rd place, not really for the victory. There I think that we have Yannick Michels, who has a great chance to take the victory today. But we are waiting for Matthias Kibert to the finish.
As we're following Daniel Hubman, but we know Matthias Kibert is really close to finish. Here he is, racing for a medal here today. He's going to get it. He's going to get the bronze, 14 seconds slower than Yannick Michels. So Matthias Kibert with the bronze here today. Yannick Michels can celebrate that win with Matthias Kibert in 3rd, Chris Jones in 2nd place. And we've still got one more starter to go. Daniel Hubman, here he is, the reigning European and world champion at the sprint, but not quite got the speed today. And nearly missing the control as well. Control number 19, he's just punching here. I think his mind was somewhere else on that one. But here's Daniel Hubman now. He's still got control 20 to punch. He's going to take this left.
He's pushing hard right now. Daniel Hubman, let's see the final position.
But let's have a look. We're live with Daniel Hubman now, and you can see he is behind Wojtek Kral, who's in 4th place. And we've got the punch from Daniel Hubman now. It's going to be tight for the top 6, I think. Can he run faster than Joey Hadorn? Will he get that top 6 position? And he's really got to sprint here. Daniel Hubman, the last starter on today's sprint. He's really got to push hard on this last section and goes into 5th position, equal 5th position, same time as Joey Hadorn. So those 2 Swiss orienteers sharing that same time. But Yannick Michels then, with all the runners now at the finish, can celebrate his victory here today.
And I think he was the only runner we didn't see do any mistakes at all. He didn't choose wrong at the routes. As far as we know, we haven't seen him to control 15, but compared to Chris Jones, he was able to pick some seconds, to win back some seconds. So I think my guess is that he was running good there as well. Chris Jones, nice to see him back after yesterday's disaster in the final. But as he said, he wasn't very disappointed. He, as he wrote, got a very easy sixth position in the end. And he proved today that he is very, very strong in sprint. And then Matthias Kiburtz back after problems with injury. But I also want to mention Joey Haddon, because he did so many mistakes and still he's up there in 5th position. I think if you sum up, okay, then we are talking about a perfect race, but still he had the speed to fight for the victory even today. So definitely in great shape, Joey Haddon in 5th position. But it was quite obvious, it was a tricky sprint today. Yannick Michel's probably the only one coming through without mistakes. So interesting with a sprint competition like this.
Yeah, I think we're still going to have to wait and see what Yannick Michels' route choice was to 15, but that's where, you know, he's leading from control 15, and that's where he managed to overtake Chris Jones.
I mean, he won almost 10 seconds between the pre-warning and TV3, so...
5 Swiss in the top 10, notably there.
Also good to see Andreas Kiburtz in his last race on home soil and a World Cup competition in 9th position, top 10 again for him. We have 3 runners in 9th position: Christoph Meyer, Andreas Kiburtz and Martin Rietborn.
So we're going to very shortly have the pictures from the flower ceremonies. And we can reflect on 2 quite different, well, different on the, in terms of the winners from today's 2 races. You can see the winner of the women's Tove Alexandersson. She'd already won the World Cup 2019 before this race even happened. She doesn't even need to go to China for the next couple of races. She's already won it, but so we've got to think, can anybody beat her? Will she get a clean sweep in the individual races in this World Cup 2019? It's hard to see who can possibly beat her, unless Maya Alm decides to make the trip out of China, unless she recovers from the injury. But I don't know that she's actually on the start list for China. That's the World Cup final, where there will be a sprint and a sprint relay as part of the World Cup final 2019. Let's get the right results up there, and I think we're going to do the women's flower ceremony first. In the end, it was a pretty dominant performance from Tove Alexandersson, despite not making all the right route choices. Fantastic result too from Elina Rus, going 1 better than her result yesterday in the knockout sprints.
Yeah, we have seen Simon Abersold here and also Elena Rus, but there was a big gap between Abersold and Rus. Rus was 16 seconds behind Tove Alexandersson, and Simon Abersold was 43 seconds behind. That's, I mean, those 16 seconds, that's okay, but then it's half a minute down to the 3rd position. There's a lot of space in between there for other runners. But as we have seen in the men's race, also in the women's race, not many runners coming through without any mistakes, route choice mistakes or mistakes in execution. So yeah, it was a difficult race today.
It really was, and a combination of good route choice, good execution and fantastic speed needed to medal in today's races. 3rd place goes to Simona Abersold, who takes her 2nd medal of the weekend, also getting a silver in the middle distance.
In the Switzerland.
Auch die Läuferin auf dem zweiten Rang kommt aus der Schweiz und heißt Elena Roos.
Confirming her sprinting pedigree, which I think will be very important when you consider next year's World Championships, the first ever sprint World Championships to be held in the summer in Denmark. Elena Roos taking bronze yesterday and now silver today.
Once again, representing Sweden.
But can anybody beat Tove Alexandersson? Well, the answer in 2019 is no. Taking the win again, Tove Alexandersson of Sweden. So confirmation those top three in the women's race from earlier.
Die schnellsten Damen im Sprintrennen hier in der Altstadt von Laufen. Simon Amsold, Elena Roos, Tove Alexandersson.
And now I think we're going to hear from the winner.
Alexandersson, another victory today. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. It has been a fantastic weekend, so I'm just so satisfied.
You're unbeatable this season. Why are you so fast?
I don't know, it's been a crazy season and I have done really good races all the time, so yeah, it's like unbelievable, so I'm just so happy.
Thank you, Tove.
Thanks.
Tove is unbeatable, and if we knew why, then she wouldn't be unbeatable. I think people would know the secret to her success. Well, the winner once again, she will head to China, having already won the 2019 World Cup. So I think we're going to now move on towards the men's flower ceremony, a confirmation of the results there. Just that 2-second win from Yannick Michels, Chris Jones in second place. Matthias Kiberts, it was the top Swiss taking that bronze. So we're now going to have this flower ceremony for the men's sprint final.
EGK World Cup Sprint for men.
EGK World Cup Sprintdistanz, Flower Ceremony der Herren.
It's interesting to see that we have two real sprint specialists here on the first and second positions. I mean, both of them were not competing at the World Championships since it was in the forest. Both Yannick Michels and Chris Jones. But this guy from Switzerland, Matthias Kiberts, he is an all-rounder, and he, of course, was at the World Championships. A bit unlucky with some injuries there, but I'm sure he will be back for next year and the sprint World Championships there.
Interestingly, none of these guys competed in the middle distance on Friday.
Yeah.
But of course they were involved in the sprints. Second place, silver medal for Chris Jones of Great Britain. Chris Smithard there applauding him, forced to pull out of today's final with some injury, but Chris Jones there, second place by 2 seconds, but with the win today, as you said before, Jonas, a sprint specialist, really showing that he's got good form on this year out, year away, whilst the focus has been on Forest. Yannick Michels from Belgium took today's victory. And fantastic for the Belgian team as well. Really smaller teams kind of getting a lot of inspiration from successes. And you can see there those top three.
Matthias Grimold, Chris Jones und Yannick Michels, die schnellsten drei Athleten des heutigen Rennens. Und ja, das war es also von einem wunderbaren Wochenende hier in Laufen mit dem sportlichen Teil. Wie gesagt, der Festzeit.
And I think we're going to hear from the winner now.
Tell us about your race today.
I think I did a really good run, but of course I was extremely tired. I didn't expect to go up so far that hill. So I died there, but I guess most runners who made the final had the same feeling as me. But yeah, I did a good race, and I'm very, very happy that I won.
This is your second victory in a World Cup sprint. Is this your favorite discipline?
It's hard to say that the sprint is not my favorite. Of course, it's something I can train at home in Belgium. We don't have the most technical terrain in the forest, so I focus on sprint, and today showed once again that my type of training or focus is working.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yannick Michels, I mean, a bit of an interesting question to ask whether sprint is his favourite. He doesn't basically do anything else, and maybe it was classic sprint or knockout sprint your favourite.
He could choose track and field as his favourite discipline as well.
Yeah, he really could. So Yannick Michels there, our winner today. So that is it from this World Cup here in Switzerland. We've had 3 fantastic races. The World Cup moves now to the final stage in China in about 4 weeks' time, where we'll have a middle distance, a sprint and also a sprint relay. Many of the faces you've seen here over this weekend will be travelling there for the last few races of the World Cup 2019. Tove Alexanderson has already won the Women's World Cup, but it's still all to play for in the men's competition. So we'll find out who will be crowned overall World Cup winner then. But we'll see you in China.
Yeah, see you there.